If you had asked me, I don't know, 25 years ago, if you'd asked me, will Edgerrin James be in the Hall of Fame? I would have said he's got a shot. But if you had asked me 25 years ago, will Edgerrin James write a book? I would have said, I don't think he's going to have any interest in that whatsoever, because he didn't, there was something about fame, I don't know, that you didn't trust or that you didn't want so much. You wanted the things that football gave you, but not necessarily some of this stuff. So why write a book, Edge?
Well, you know, as you travel and as you go, as you travel this journey, you start looking back and you start to see all the people that you can inspire. I see so many guys that remind me of myself, and you don't get a chance to speak to them personally. You don't get a chance to see them physically. And the best way to kind of give off some insight or kind of spread the word is through a book. So I think it's best and I think it's appropriate.
And you want people to know some things that perhaps you didn't know to ask about when you were young, or did you see an absence? Do you want to impart some wisdoms to people that you wish you had?
Well, I think it's both. I think it's one of those things where you see guys going through things. And a lot of times you say, dang, I went through the same thing, or they're handling it the wrong way. And I say, man, you know what? Maybe if they take this approach, or maybe if they take that approach that I've taken, and to inspire a lot of guys, because a lot of guys, you know, where we're coming from, nobody knows a personal author. Nobody knows anybody that actually wrote a book. And to actually be one that actually put a book out, I think that's just another layer to all the different things that I've accomplished, and also can inspire others to kind of do the same.
You were reluctant, I felt like, to tell your story. I remember that I sort of had to pry it out of you, and it's not like you were talking to a bunch of media members, right? You were trying to do the bare minimum. You wanted to stay in the shadows once upon a time.
Yeah, man, because everything was new to me. I didn't have somebody to kind of show me the way. So everything with me was trial and error. So I had to learn and figure things out, use my instincts, and the best thing to do is stay in my comfort zone at that time. You know, as you get a little older, you can say, okay, yeah, you know, maybe I could have said this or said it, but I never wanted to look back on some things and say, dang, I took the wrong approach there.
Are there some things that you look back in your playing days, Edge, and which wish you'd spoken up on, or maybe used the platform and not been hesitant or distrustful around the lights? The adult Edgerrin James would like to go back and say some things differently in public.
Nah, I think I handled it the right way, because, you know, I know what I was there for. I was there to play ball. You know, I was there to play sports, and that's what I enjoy, and that's what I love doing. And I never got away from the foundation of what I'm here for.
People don't understand what you come from, Edge. I've read the quotes where you say, I was an adult in middle school. I was a man in middle school.
Yeah, I don't think people really understand what certain people go through, and I think there's a lot of kids that's actually going through those things right now, where they're kind of thrust into a situation that they probably didn't want to be in, or they didn't really know they had to be in. And when you're thrown in those situations, you know, you gotta make them work. And that's what me. I was always making things work, but kind of going with a whole lot of trial and error and figuring it out as I go.
Can you explain to us what the transition was like for you? Because let's go back and tell the whole story autobiographically, right? You get to the University of Miami, and I believe I have this right, Edge. I'm doing it from memory. But at the time, you are uncommonly muscular, but were not a weightlifter, right? Largely in high school, you got that kind of size working on watermelon trucks, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Immokalee, and the thing to do for when you're young and you want to try to make some money, you go to the watermelon fields and you try to. And my grandfather was a contractor, so he let me come out there at an early age, and I was probably the only child out there. And you get a chance to work and earn your own money, you know. And for me, getting to the University of Miami, you know, when I got there, I saw guys if they played well, if they said certain things to people would give them money. And I was like, damn, this pretty cool, because for me, I had to earn everything that I had. And those things right there started standing out. But it's like I was being prepared to be a man at an earlier age than everybody else.
Can you tell the audience, because you love Immokalee, and Immokalee is a hard place, and very nearby, among the things that you will find is sugarcane fields being burned down, rabbits running around, and people eating rabbits, chasing rabbits, famously, Anquan Bolden, people around the area. Can you explain to people why it is you love Immokalee the way that you do?
Well, the sugarcane part, that's a little bit away from us. That's over in Belglade, Clewiston area. But of Immokalee, Immokalee is just a special place because it's a melting pot, but it's a melting pot of people that really don't have. And when you start looking at how hard the people work and how much energy people put into having these small things, you get a greater appreciation for things. And then once you leave Immokalee, you take that same appreciation for things and you look at the rest of the world and you say, man, this pretty easy. When I got to Miami, I'm like, this is pretty easy. I got a chance to do all these wonderful things and be in these nice situations, and you don't even really have to work that hard for them.
What do you remember about the transition that wasn't easy?
I don't look at nothing as hard. I don't look at nothing as hard. I never looked at anything as hard, because, I've always had a great family support. Immokalee is on an hour away or so I've always had family and friends around. And football, the University of Miami was, the tight-knit group that we've always had. That made everything so much easier.
Edge, when and how did you fall in love with football?
Football is the thing to do. And with me, football, it became natural for me. And plus it was easy for me. So, and it's something that everybody else doing, and you get a chance to go out there and play amongst people that are 2-3 years older than you and be successful. I think that right there, those are the signs that say, hey, you know what, I got a chance to be really good at this. And football was something that gave me a chance to be myself. You go out there, you be a warrior, you got to be a gladiator, and you do all these things to I guess, kind of get to the other side, so to speak, when you're running the football. And that right there is always a joy in doing that, being able to outwill somebody.
Stugotz, you should know that Edge was saying that football was easy for him upon getting into the pros, that he was surprised that it was easy, that he would play after.
The speed didn't change?
Just that after games on Sunday, carrying 25 and 30 times, you'd go back to your house and pick up basketball, right? Because you weren't even having trouble with NFL Sundays, correct?
Yeah, at first, I guess because you have it in your mind that you're going to play this big time sport and it's going to be so tough. But then when you get there, you realize like it's the same game you've been playing since you were a child. You've done all the proper things to make sure that you're equipped and you're ready. And then when you get there, it's the same thing. So for us, I went and played football with all my friends were at the house. I was young, 21, 22, had everybody at the house, and we just go play the game, and soon as the game over, we'll get back to the real game. And that's the basketball game at the house. And that was the way we kind of treated it. We had fun with that.
Basketball game at the house after NFL Sundays. Because I remember asking you all the time, like, why doesn't your body hurt? Why aren't you beat up? That probably later in life, right? Later in your professional career, there had to be some pain that came with it that made you less likely to do that, right? The Arizona days, you're not playing also basketball at the end of Sundays, are you?
As you get older, Father Time catches up with you. And for me, it was, your body starts telling you when, hey, you're not capable of doing these things. And the recovery takes a little bit longer once you get older. When you're young, you don't even realize you actually had a game. It didn't even feel like you played a game.
Do I have this wrong, or was there not a time when your friends were betting about whether or not you would show up for the Hall of Fame speech? Because that wasn't really your thing.
Well, it was more so was how it wasn't that I would show up. It was how short it would be. They had a bet on would it be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, would it be the shortest in the history of the NFL. So that was the going thing. And then the other thing was they thought it was going to be a time they finally get to see Edge cry. And obviously, that's not happening.
Yes, this is not.
You crushed the speech, though, Ed. You really did.
Well, you not only.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You not only crushed the speech, though, Edge. If I could not have imagined, right? Because I don't know, you would have no reason to remember this, but I do remember at the University of Miami, your off-campus apartment, going to see you, and you were sort of reticent about being a public talker. You didn't really just it wasn't interesting to you. To see you go from that to 25 years later, have command of an audience and confidence with everything you were saying, it was a marvel to see how much education you'd gotten. And I'm talking about all of it. I'm not just talking about school, Edge. I'm talking about all of it. Just a confidence to speak in front of people is not something that I had seen a quarter century earlier from you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, amongst my peers, and, I don't have a problem with talking when I'm in my comfort zone, but I always want to make sure that I have my information. I love to read. I love to study. I like to make sure I have everything together. And over the years, I've just been collecting all that information and knowledge and putting myself in a situation to where I'm not getting out there making a fool of myself or getting out there just blurting things out. If I say something, I want it to be effective and I want it to be factual, so that it can actually carry on. It's not somewhere it's like Ed's just out here just talking. So I wanted to make sure whenever I do anything like that, I want to make sure it's done the right way.
Why was it so important for you to be authentic, Edge? Because I do remember when we did a magazine story together that you really wanted people to know unfiltered truth. You were going to cut through all the bullshit. Well,
I think that's what I think the world's ready for that, and I think I've always been on that because of the fact that it only makes sense. It's hard to put on to be something else, and then all of a sudden you go in front of a camera, you have to be something else. That's a conflict of interest, especially when you have people that are in your everyday life. They don't know if you're telling the truth or you're just saying things. And for me, I relate to so many normal people. A lot of times people look at us as celebrities and they put us on this pedestal, or they put us in this kind of category when we're all human. And I think being yourself and being natural and being real, I think it's more appreciated, and it also inspires more to say, hey, you know what, this guy, he's just like us, and he was able to accomplish all these things, but doing it the right way.
If I asked you the most fun you ever had 1 year of playing football, any time along the path, what would be the year that you would point to?
Oh, man, I had so many fun years playing football, but the fun has had to be at the University of Miami. The University of Miami, when football was just fun. You're having fun, you're playing the game, and after the game, you don't have money, you don't have all those things. All you have is each other. That's when it really was fun, those years at the University of Miami. I think when you get to the pros, it really turns into business. It's a true business, and the benefits of the pros are the things that you're able to attain and the access you have to things. But you're talking about pure fun. It's at the University of Miami when you don't have money, you don't have all these things. All you have is each other. You have your wit. You have who you are as a person. That's what it really was about there.
Edgerrin James with us here. His new book, From Gold Teeth to Gold Jacket, My Life in Football and Business, is available February 8th. As a Hall of Famer, I've been dying to ask this question. David Baker, is he scary? Like, that man is a scary man, is he not?
Does he? Do you know him by name? Do you know him by name? Because I don't know if David Baker.
I just call him Baker. But
he's enormous.
The thing about it, when you see him, it's like, okay, it's like the football gods are here. That's how it is. Like, he shows up because only time you see him is when it's about that gold jacket. It's about Hall of Fame talk. And I think they did a great job of keeping him in that little box right there, so that when you see him, it's real. And I think anybody that plays football or anybody that really understands the game and want to go to the highest of the high, you'll know when Baker shows up, it's like, yeah, you've arrived.
Where is the gold jacket right now? Where is it?
It's in the box. I always keep it in the box that they send it to me in, and I'll pull it out whenever I need to, or whenever we have an event, or they say you bring the jacket out. But it's one of those things that you'll barely see it, but when you do see it, it's a moment.
Are you proud of anything in football above all else? Is there anything that gives you a great amount of pride where you're like, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with myself there. I'm happy I was able to do blank.
My children. I'm very proud of that, and like right now, I have 4 kids in college right now as we speak. They're all in college at the same time. So, you have 4 kids that's in college. I don't even have a college degree, and I have children with college degrees. So, that's one thing I'm very proud of, and trying to make sure that I'm the best dad out there. That's one thing I'm most proud of, way more proud of that than anything I've ever accomplished in football.
Can you tell the people who do not know, Edgerrin, about getting to the University of Miami from where it is that you were from in Immokalee? You were talking about things that you did not have, but it's more than that, right? I mean, you were weightlifting, going back to Immokalee, and you're having crackheads. You're paying them. This is as a child. You were like 9, 8 years old. You're amusing yourself because you're surrounded by a lot of temptations and a lot of bad things, and you grow up fast. I don't think the audience knows just how much you overcame to statistically get to where you are. The odds were all against you.
Yeah, and that's why they need to go get the book. Those things are in the book, because it's one of those things where you could have easily went left. When you look at this stuff, you could, it's like you could have made the wrong turn at any point in time, but for some reason, something's shining on you. Somebody, has their hand on you. I don't know if it's your mom's prayer, your grandma's prayer, but somebody has their hand on you because for some reason, you end up making the right decision at the right time. And that's like the story of my life. I don't know why I was put in this situation, because I grew up in the same situation as a lot of my peers. I know a lot of people that was athletic. I know a lot of people that had the same things that I've had. Some of them had more. But for me, it was always just at that right moment, making the right decision. Why did I make that decision? You never know. But it ended up working out the right way.
Do you have a memorable I went at it with Peyton Manning story? Because he can be a baby sometimes. He loses his temper, and I don't imagine he's doing a whole lot of that to you.
Nah, we had a mutual respect for each other, and the way we played the game and the way we understood the game was, when it's time to run the ball, you run the ball. When it's time to pass the ball, you pass the ball. And I think that's why we got along so well, because we understood each other. If it was something that I needed, and I say, hey, Peyton, I have these incentives in my contract, and I need to get these yards because that money means something to me. And he'll check in with me. He'll check in with me through the game. So when you got a person,
wait a minute.
I love this. Stop for a second.
I want to hear the rest of this story, because you told the story. It was Jim Mora, I think, right? It was Jim Mora who said he wanted you to kneel on the ball at the end of the game, and you're like, bleep that. I'm not kneeling on the ball. I've got incentives for touchdowns. I need a touchdown here. How does that one fly with Peyton? He's happy. He likes the rebellion.
That's why our relationship is the way it is, because and nobody's coming between me and my money. It means something to me. It really means a lot to me, especially where I'm coming from. If I get from here to 20 yards down there, that's the difference between making $500,000 or $1 million. You better make sure I get it, because that's a lifetime right there. Yeah, some people work their whole lives and don't make $1 million. All I gotta do is get 20 more yards. You better help me get these 20 yards. So we're always on the same page, and that's the thing about it. But we always did everything within the game, because you can go within the game and do it the right way and still accomplish what you want to accomplish. And that was the beauty of everybody being on the same page. It wasn't a thing where at the end of the game, you say, hey, man, I just needed 20 more yards and I didn't get it, but I didn't speak up. No, I speak up. I'm going to let you know ahead of time.
Well, go tell us the story. So you're coming into the huddle and you're like, Peyton, I need 35.
It doesn't start in the huddle. It starts Monday.
During the week, during the week.
It starts on Monday. Hey, I need this amount of catches or yards. And we got, I just want you to know, because you have the ability to change the play at any time. And,
Not more,
I just want you
to
know,
right?
this your boy back here, because, and for me, it's like, and that's one thing. I've always had his back, and situations like that let me know, man, what? He got my back too. So it always worked out.
Did he ever let you down on a bonus? Like I'm trying to get you the bonus.
Did this happen multiple times? How many times did this happen?
Well, I incentives in my contract throughout the year. I mean, throughout the first so many years. So during those period of time, you want to make sure that, hey, I need to get these incentives. I know we're going to be sitting out the last game of the season, so we need to make sure let's get all this stuff out the way so it's a non-issue. And so we were able to accomplish those things without a problem. Everybody was happy.
Let's talk about
He
money.
hit every one of them.
Let's talk about money for a second, though, because I've seen on Instagram you're sitting on giant stacks of cash. I don't know how much money that is, but it's giant stacks of cash.
Mm-hmm. Those are ones, man. Those are ones. That's nothing compared to what they got out in this world. That's baby money compared to the money these guys putting out there. So that's nothing. But it's fun. It's entertaining. I'm in the nightlife business, so it's all part of marketing.
What can you tell us about that? I don't know, because you are public about that, but I don't imagine many people are asking you about that, and I imagine it's a private thing as well. But I've never known Edgerrin James to be anything but honest. Like, he ain't hiding anything. So how did you get into that business, and what was the decision making like? Because you are a prudent businessman. You know how to make money with your money.
Well, I think it's over the years, when you become a ball player and you start looking at the things that we're into, the things you're into are the things that you're into. You're not gonna really get away from it. And for me, I've always liked the nightlife, and if it's something that you enjoy, you start inquiring about it. So you start learning about it. And throughout my career, I was always doing real estate. So I had a chance to combine real estate and being in the nightlife business, all in one. So it was like the perfect storm for me. So I started, buying real estate, and on the real estate, there's a club. And with the club, you kind of get the best of both worlds. And for me, that's kind of where I like to sit. I like to sit where I'm working, but I'm also having fun.
But you wouldn't drink at all, correct? If I have this right, when guys, during your playing days, you would not have drinks. When you're talking about nightclub, you're talking about adult entertainment. You're not talking about drinking and partying.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what club you go to. Like, when it came to me and football, football was my life. I didn't care to drink that. I was not interested in that. Anything that works against what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to do in life, there's no need to even consider it. So drinking was never part of the equation.
Did you not accomplish anything you imagined yourself accomplishing in football?
I think I've accomplished everything. You want to win a championship. I got right there I got real close to winning one. But for me, the ultimate goal was to take this game and use this game to be able to enhance my family structure, enhance my family life, to put us in positions to where now I can say, I have 4 kids in college right now. Those were the things that were more important. Those are the things that football was able to afford me, the opportunity to be able to do those things right there. And I think that's the most important thing, to be able to, take your family from a place like Immokalee and be able to see the world and travel.
When you say proud of your kids, Edge, this is a big one for you, right? Them all being in college. Can you explain to me why it is that part of it? You being able to provide a life that, how hard it was for you to get to college. You know what you had to overcome in order to get to college. I don't know if Edgerrin James spoils his kids or not, but my guess is they didn't have to endure what he had to endure in order to get to college.
Nah, I mean, they shouldn't have to either, because, I'm in a position where I can position them to actually go to college. And you're talking about some people never get a chance to go to college. And right now, today, I have 4 kids in college, on college campus. I have my one daughter at North Carolina A&T, my other daughter at Clark Atlanta, another one, my son, he just enrolled in Howard. He's an early enrollee. And then my other daughter, she's finishing law school in May. And coming from my situation, my background, that's unheard of. I don't know if you look in the Guinness Book of World Records, do you have anybody else that has 4 kids in college at the same time, coming from where I'm coming from? You're not going to find that,
What in the book do you want fans to know? Not inspirational, but just something that it's important to you to clear the record on, or something that when you sat down to do this project, you said, I think fans need to have access to this part of my personality or my story.
Well, I don't think it's nothing to set the record straight. I think a fan will look at it and see some of the chapters, and they'll get a greater appreciation for how much work was put in from the coach organization, from each player, from your players and the way it was going. I think it's like a guide to some players. They can look at this and they can say, man, these guys, they really worked. It wasn't just show up and play. It wasn't a thing where it was selfish. It was all about a team. It was all about everybody coming together. And I think the fans from that era, they're going to get a greater appreciation for the group that we had. And it's going to be hard to duplicate that, to have that many people at the same time, coming from different backgrounds. But when you get on that field at the same time, everybody's on the same page and everybody has the same common goal.
Ed, you retired in 2009. If I told you in 2009 that 12 years later, Tom Brady would be coming off a Super Bowl victory and would be the likely MVP, you would have said what to me?
Man, well, Brady plays quarterback, so when you play quarterback, you have a chance to play a long time. But, man, you're happy to see people that you actually play with it, but it actually makes you feel older than you actually are. It's like, dang, I was actually playing with Brady, but I've been retired for over 10 years and Brady's still going. So, no, but that's something that's amazing accomplishment. And you're rarely going to see something like that happen, because those things right there, that's tough to accomplish. But that goes back to taking care of your body, being in tune with the game, and actually loving the game. You got to love the game to be playing for 20 years. It's just like Frank Gore. I was like, man, how long is he going to keep going? It's like, it's tough to get out there mentally, because, the locker room is where you socialize. And I know Frank started turning into a parent in the locker room. He's like, man, I'm like, he's leaving home as a parent and coming to the locker room as a parent, because it's like, dang, these kids weren't even born and I was out here playing ball. It's like those things right there. I had to take my hat off to them to be able to stay in there that long and to be able to stay into it, because it's a tough business and you spend a lot of time in that locker room.
Fill in some of the blanks here, just rapid fire. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions here to chronicle your career. The toughest teammate Edgerrin James ever had was blank.
Anquan Bolden. He's tough. Anquan Bolden is one of the toughest people you're going to meet.
The guy at the University of Miami who I most said, that guy might be as good as I am at this, was blank.
Ed Reed. Ed Reed could play both sides. He could play both sides of the ball.
The best teammate I've ever had is blank.
It's a bunch of good teammates. It all depends on the situation. So I'm not gonna blame. I would say probably Rod Mack. That was like one of my close friends. The teammate. He played on the other side of the ball. So at the University of Miami, I would have to say Rod Mack.
But Peyton got you your bonuses, man.
I thought we were talking about the younger years.
He wants to reminisce about the Miami years, the fun years,
yeah,
the best
fun years, not the business years.
The best
on the business years, P Money always took good care of me. So I always call him P Money too. Yeah.
He doesn't look like a P Money, but he was the P Money if he's calling the plays at the line. How much did he make you? Let's go ahead just off I don't know if you know exactly, but in the neighborhood, the amount of money that Peyton Manning made me by doing the correct thing on audibles to get me my incentives was blank.
Nah, I can't say made me. I say because everybody made money that had incentives, so you're like kind of in control of it. So I can't say, okay, yeah, he made this, but at the end of the year, he would make sure that those bonuses are secured.
The guy on the other side of the ball, nobody keeps Edgerrin James up at night, but if he was going to lose a wink of sleep, a linebacker that might make him lose a wink of sleep was blank, or defensive lineman.
Still blank.
It's still blank.
That's so great.
Nobody.
Yes.
So it's not anybody. There's not.
Still blank.
I love that.
Never.
It's still blank.
Never. Is that
Nobody.
real, or is it because you will not give anyone that begrudging respect even many years after your retirement?
I mean, it was nobody that it's like, man, I want to see him. It's like, man, it's like if you're the best, I want to see. I remember like we playing in the game, and like you coming from the University of Miami, you always hear about Marvin Jones. Remember Marvin Jones? And I'm like, we playing against the Jets. I'm like, as soon as I get an opportunity, I'm running full speed in front of him to Marvin Jones. Like I want to feel it. Like I want to see it. I want to know what the best of the best is. But that's always been my approach. So like I haven't seen nobody that says, man, I don't want to go up against this person or whatever. I want to see all that. I want all that action right there, because that's what's going to separate you from the rest of everybody else. Like I want to see the biggest, baddest, so that I can see where I'm at and see what I need to do to get my game up.
I mean, not even Ray. Ray?
Man, we all play at the U, man. So we out there, man. Like, it's like, man, it's just like you playing against your brother and all that. So you don't even put them in the category, because you don't even look at it like that,
Ricky
like
Williams. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, so when you play, you don't even right. look at them that way. I don't look at them as the enemy. You look at it like we just doing our job, and at the end of the play, we might be talking about something back home or something. It's like it's a different game when you're playing against your boys.
Ricky Williams said Roy Williams on tape, he broke into the open field and went looking for him because Roy Williams was a bully as a safety, went looking for him. You're telling me that Marvin Jones, before the Marvin Jones game, you break into the open field and you're looking for Marvin Jones because you want him to feel you?
Yeah. Nah, I just wanted that action. It's like Marvin Jones, Marvin Jones is like the legend, and you saying, okay, somebody that did it the right way and that was a beast playing football, you're like, man, yeah, I want that action. I want to go up against him, because and they respect it too. The older guys always respect a younger guy that come in and go at him and play hard. Like we used to play against Brian Cox, and we used to play against all those guys that were from the old school, like Bruce Smith. They respected the guy that come in and don't fear you and really want to play the game, because it's a gladiator sport and we all embrace each other. So those were situations that I was like, man, I always wanted that action against everybody who was the best.
He wanted all that smoke, Dan.
Thank you, Stugotz. I appreciate it. That's very important that you identify that. The new book, From Gold Teeth to Gold Jacket, My Life in Football and Business, available February 8th. Always good catching up with you, Edge.